The financial impacts from the water crisis from 2018 were more than any hurricane or economic downturn that we've had to experience here.
An algae crisis threatening our treasure coast.
A cycle of despair and disgust amidst promises made and broken.
Billions of gallons of water are rushing from Lake Okeechobee to our coastline.
How much pollution is too much? How much danger is too much? How much before this will stop?
You know, during the water crisis, obviously the red tide would cause some health irritants, but then just the sight of, you know, the sheer volume of death, whether it's, you know, fish or marine mammals, you know, that tends to turn off a vacationer a little bit. You go from paradise to a nightmare, you know, guests left, reservations canceled, you know, as far as a business standpoint, cash flow, you know, evaporated. So it's scary. You know, the long-term outcome, if things don't change, is the Island Inn, you know, after 130 some odd years would have to close its doors.
Florida needs to be staunch in not allowing pollution to move anywhere into our waterways, whether it comes off of a roadway or a yard or a golf course or an agricultural field, or whether it's an algal bloom that comes out of Lake Okeechobee and is moved through a canal into a coastal estuary.
During a water quality event such as red tide, we're literally picking up fish as guests are filming it on their phones to post to social media, to send back home to their friends, and to take pictures to let the world know what was happening. It takes both an emotional and a physical toll on you. Physically, because the stench that's in the air is heavy, it's thick, it smells of death, and I say that in that it's you know, there are carcasses literally rotting, both in our waterways and on our beaches. So on both sides of the island, we're seeing it. In terms of volume of visitors that we have, when this event was going on in 2018, there was nobody on the streets, and that's not an exaggeration. There was literally no one in stores, there were no one in shops, there were no one in restaurants, and there was no one on the streets of Sandoval. And it was tough to stay outside for any length of time because of the stench.
We have had this continuing water quality issue for a number of years. There has been a lack of recognition, and everyone is on high alert. Businesses are very cautious about putting more capital into something that may turn into Detroit. And I use that as a model because Detroit's been gobbled up by the big boys and all the little guys are gone. And if I can't figure out how I'm going to redesign my company to take care of these gaps that the water concern has created economically, I've got a problem.
We can figure out how to not allow toxic water into the Kissimmee. We can figure out how to not allow toxic transfers of water from Lake Okeechobee to coastal estuaries. We can figure out how to get the right amount of water into Florida Everglades. We can figure out how to make sure that toxic water doesn't run off locally into our estuaries, whether it's on the east coast or west coast of Florida. These are things that we can figure out and we can fix, and when we all come together to get that done, we are going to bring ourselves to the cleanest Florida that the world has ever known.